Sure. All right, please can you confirm if you can see my screen? Hello, can anyone confirm they can see my screen? I can't hear you if you are talking. Okay. Basit, please can you see my screen now? Okay. What's happening? I don't know why it's not. Oh, my bad. I haven't started sharing my screen. Okay, cool. So, interesting. How is this thing going to work? Yeah, we'll figure it out. Okay, I think you should be able to see my screen now, right? Hello, can you see my screen now? Okay, cool. So, trying to see something. All right, cool. So, before we dive into today's class, of course, as you can see, today's class is user research. I would just like us to do a very quick recap of what we've learned in the previous class, right? Like, what has been your experience so far? Like, you can use reactions, and if you want to talk around there, so please feel free to unmute yourself. Is there any challenge you face? And if you can still, probably some of us were not on the call. You can just do the favor of giving a free recap, please. Let's make this class interactive. I mean, well, I want to admit someone is willing to talk, right? Please feel free to unmute yourself and talk. No worries. If I say there is giveaway now, everybody will talk. Oh, well, I won't say that. Okay. Okay, please talk. Okay, I'm just persuading people to talk so that we can know, oh, this is the challenge and this is what we work on so that we can improve. Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. But now nobody wants to talk. Don't worry. All right. Let's keep it going. So I think someone unmute their mic. Ah, nice. Hi, good evening. Uh, all right. Great, great, great. Thanks a lot. And I hope as the class proceeds, we are going to, actualize the major goals why you signed up for the class, which is to get knowledge and harmful hands-on for product design, basically, and I can assure you are in a good hand. We have Boss Basit here, and this is actually a community, basically, so everyone is always ready to help. So I think without further ado, like they'll say, let's jump into today's class so that we can start and get going. Please, if you have access, can you help me to admit people because it's a little bit coming up. Let's see if I can. No. Well, I hope probably you can help me to admit people if you can. So today's class we'll be talking about user research. In the previous class, you were introduced to um, basics of what product design is about. Then you were made to know like product designs and talking in this context, it's basically about digital products. And I could relate our tutors, which is Basit. He mentioned that sometimes people use the term interchangeably. That is, saying, "Oh, I'm a product designer and product and UI UX designer." So, and in a way, it's kind of related, like interrelated together. So they work hand in hand, and it depends on the context and how where it's being used. So you might have specific rules, but in an entity, it's all you know, it's all the same circles, like they are all empirical together. So and I could see some beautiful assignment that was dropped in the channels and really well done. Thumbs up to everyone that has done the assignment. We look forward to seeing more assignments that will be submitted. And this is just the beginnings and it marks the progress for the journey you started. Please don't be intimidated, don't be discouraged, but just take it as like a form of motivations. It might become uncomfortable at first, but as you progress, you get better. You start seeing improvement. Yeah, without saying much, let's jump into because I don't know if you can see my the curriculum. So let me share the curriculum. I'm sharing the user research, but let me share the curriculum so we can see um, what we will be doing. This is week two, basically. This is week two. Let me share the curriculum so that we can see where we are right now. All right. Okay. So I believe probably all participants have access to this document, which is actually the curriculum we created together to, give uh, a heads on and what you are expected to be able to do at the end of the 3 months of this boot camp. So this is week two, like I've said, and week two we'll be having two classes in each week. And in week two we have user research and personal creations. In week one, we discussed about fundamentals of UI UX and understanding what UI and UX entails and everything along that. But now we are making progress. We are into user research and personal creations. Probably this is your first time hearing the term user research and personal curations. I want to believe at the end of the lesson, at the end of this class, you will be able to, understand the importance of user research in UX design, which is user experience design. When I say user experience design, I think by now it should be registered to us that we are trying to, a segment of an whole entity. So by the end of the class, you should be able to understand the importance of user research in UX design. Also, you should be able to explore qualitative and quantitative research method, user research method. Thank you. And going forward, you should be able to create user persona and empathy mind map. And also, you should be able to analyze user behaviors and their needs. So this is what this week two is about. And I don't know, but I'm just somehow excited, and because it's going to be a very long journey ahead, and I'm excited for. But for today's class, we are very conscious of information overload. So in regards to that, we are breaking each week into two classes. So for this Mood 2, class 1, we should be able to understand the importance of user research in UX design. And also, we should be able to explore qualitative and quantitative research methods, of course, in UX design. So I will go back to the slides for today's presentation by stop sharing my screen first and yeah, share my presentation again. Um, Please help me when you can see my presentation. Just so okay, we have people that want to join the call. Oh goodness. Oh, okay, I can see some hands are raised up. Please, I see some hands are raised up. Please, can you talk or is that a mistake? Boluwatife Akingba Habib, please unmute yourself and talk if you want to say something. Oh, thank you, thank you. It's a little bit. Let me see if I can make the settings so that anybody can join without having to. Because I'm not on. I'm not on Meet, so it's somehow distracting. Okay, let me see. All right, so. Okay, so anyone can join. Hopefully, anyone can join this meeting now without distraction, without obstruction, or waiting for me to admit there. So, and just to confirm, can you all see my screen now? Oh, I still have to admit this before. God. Oh, great, thank you. Just give me a few minutes. I want to be sure everyone's going to join. Come. Okay. Okay, now everyone can dial him the call without. I'm not being conscious of time. We have just 1 hour. Okay, so back to today's business, which is actually user research. Now, um, okay, so what is user research? Or let's make this kind of democratic. Uh, democratic, right? I would like to ask, what do you understand by research in its entity? Like, please, just maybe one person so that we can move faster. What do you understand by research on its own? Let's forget about the user research now. Okay, let me call names. Um, see, let me call names. Tell my person faster. Uh, all right, Ama Chima, please. What do you understand by research? Hi, good afternoon. Awesome. Thanks a lot. So, in the simplest times, research is just trying to find, digging information, digging for more, a deeper understanding. Research could just be like a quest for more understanding. And research doesn't actually mean like it's not an abstraction. It means like looking for meaning. It starts with curiosity. Oh, why can these things be? So we know about people that research about a lot of things. They go deep down into see. They are just curious. Oh, why are the things there? Why are the things that live there? It's out of curiosities, and from that we look for, okay, from the results of the actions, what can we deduce, from this, what can we make use of the data, the information we've collected from this research. So research in its simple times is the actual look for meaning. They look for the extensive look for information, the search for knowledge. So I think I said in simple times, but I've said more than a statement. But just take my word for it, is a look for there's a search for meaning, and you know so now let's talk about user research. So user research, or UX research, it focuses on understanding user behaviors, their needs and motivation through observation and feedback. When we talk about research, we said, oh, it's basically like out of curiosity, looking for meaning, looking for knowledge, and what have you, as far as you can, define research. But now, in terms of design research and in terms of product designs, US research focuses on understanding user behaviors, their needs, motivations through observations and feedback. So now, you see, this can be broken down into several segments. First, understanding user behaviors, to their needs, their motivations, and how do we do this research? Through observations and feedback. So now, research doesn't exist on its own, like in isolations. You need to have some things that are independent. We have in research we have independent variables and dependent variables. So these two things work hand in hand together. So you can have a solid research without having two elements. That is your your dependent variables and independent variables. So I wish we can do a pool, but so my question will have just been like this. So um, what do you think is the dependent variables in um, product in this time, in the context? Let's talk about the context of a product, and you are trying to make research. What do you think would be the the dependent variables and the independent variables of your research? Or probably we can pen that till the class progress. But I just want you to ponder on this. Okay, now in recent, independent variables or dependent variables. Independent variables are, you know, you are carrying the research. Let's say, okay, I can dance when I have a good shoe. Now I can dance is my potential, which is my ability, which is independence of me, independence of designs. That is, I can say, I myself, I can dance. That is the art of dancing, right? But now I'm now having like dependent variables, like when I have a good shoe. That means when I don't have a good shoes, I cannot dance. Now, relating it back to user research. Now, we are trying to look for like their needs, their motivations, and behavior. How do we do this? That's through observations and their feedback, right? But what are we observing? We are observing them, of course, and we need their feedback. But we are focusing on understanding their behavior through something. That's through the product. And so the product is the I want to see the answer already. The product is the bridge between the users and the research we are trying to create. So your product, excuse me, excuse me. All right. So please can you confirm if you can still hear me? Oh, okay. Okay. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. So now as you can read here, your product should be built upon research and fact, not assumptions. So I think I've actually just just gonna put them on top. So whatever you are building, you are designing for human. You are not designing for your imagination. Of course, you need creativity, but you are bringing your product closer to people. You are trying to solve a particular problem. So the problem you are trying to solve should be based on research and on facts. It shouldn't be based on your mere assumption. You shouldn't assume, oh, the user will be able to relate with this. I don't know. Probably you've seen a meme like that shows like, oh, this is the road. This is the road you have to pass through. But I will get the image. I'll try to get the image and share with you on the channel. So whatever product you are designing should be based on research and fact and not just mere assumption. Now let's move further to the categories of research and method and the method of research. So the categories of research, first of all, research can be, we are not talking about user research now, we are still talking about the research, right? But I'm just trying to, put things together. Please just catch up and feel free to ask questions um, if you miss something along the way. So there are two categories of research. One, we have the primary research and the secondary research. So, in the primary research is a kind of research you conduct yourself. You obtain the information, the data yourself, and it could either be through direct interaction with your audience, with your subject, and what have you. And some method you can use in this kind of research are like interview, survey, usability studies, and also, those three main type of research. You can use them as a primary method of research. We'll still talk about them in details as we proceed. And the second type of research is the secondary research. So the secondary research is just a kind of research whereby you are not of course you still have to go through the process of sorting out details and everything, but it's not like you are directly you are the primary contact with your audience. It's just basically like you obtain information from already existing research or already existing body of knowledge. And for method of secondary research, you have like using information from sources like books, articles, or journals. And these are considered as secondary research method. Okay. All right. So now we have categories of UX research. Please, if you can remember, what I just talked about previously are types of research, which are primarily like two types or two categories of research in essence. You have the primary and the secondary. The primary means you are the one that was in charge or that carried out your research directly with your audience, why with your user basically, why the secondary is like you are using already existing research. It could be from journal, from article, some information that have been created already. Now, what are the categories of UX research? What are the category of user research in essence? And we can also say at what stage does user research comes up? I mean, in this essence. So now, for number one, we have foundational research. And foundational research is actually the type of research you do before you start designing. I mean, now come to think of it, now this is where it all connects together. We talk about primary and we talk about secondary. Now we are talking about foundational research in user experience research. And for foundational research, it happens or occurs when before you even start opening your Figma to start, putting your colors together, starting putting the pixels and finding balance. So this is a foundational research, and with product development lifecycle, foundational research happens, during like brainstorming stage. It helps you to emphasize with your users, understand their needs, and also, you get inspired new directions. So during the stage of foundational research, that's where you develop personal and user story. So now, if you read in between the line, you see like you get an understanding of what we what will be what will be considering in next class. So now it's all part of foundational research. So during the foundational research, that's even before you start. Oh, how should my app look? But you try to get clarity. It helps you to get new ideas. It helps you to emphasize with your users. I mean, these are the ones you are creating your design for, right? So that's part of foundational research. Um, so during foundational research, here are some of the questions you can ask yourself. What should we build? So I'm using we to qualify ourselves now because of course we are into this track together. So when we are doing our foundational research for user experience research, basically, what should we build? Why are we building these things? Why are we building it? What should we build exactly? What should we build? That's where you probably identify a problem in Unilag, maybe um I've been having this idea, right? So let me try to, contextualize it to Unilag. By the way, I think I attend Unilag, so you might forgive me if I make some mistake in qualifying with Unilag. So let's say, for example, I identify a problem in my classroom. Okay, maybe I see like, oh, sometimes people like, okay, when I advance to another level, I don't, my materials, my course materials, they are just, I can't even find them again. Maybe I try to clear my phone storage and stuff like that. So I now come up with a solutions like, oh, how about if I build an app that, okay, students can collaborate and, have a file for my classroom. This is the material we use this here and stuff like that. So now, what should we build? So okay, I'll be like, I identify the problems, I understand the problem. I'll be like, what should I build now? So it's just a kind of recurring thoughts that keep coming. What should I build? What should I? How should I build these things now? What are the users' problem? In the context of the example I give, it deals with course materials. It's just once you are done with a particular section, you see it's just gone like that. Some of the coming levels might be asking you, and you can't even find it. So it's just a context, right? It's just a context, right? So what are the users' problems, and also how can we solve this problem? And one of the questions you might consider to ask yourself is, am I aware of my own bias? Am I able to filter them as I do the research? You know, if you can recall, we are saying through research, we are trying to find solutions to a particular problem, right? So as you are trying to, find solutions, there might be some things you felt, oh, they are normal things, but when you interact with people, they see things differently. And while you are undergoing your foundational research, of course, you have that at the back of your mind that you are trying to solve the user problem, right? So, are you aware of your own biases, and are you ready and able to filter them as you do your research? So let's proceed further. Please, if you have questions, feel free to ask at any point in time so we can, have an interactive class. And the second category of UX research, user research, is the design research. So this design research is done while you are designing. If the first one is foundational research, while the second one is design research. Now, we said foundational research is done before we even start designing at all. Now, the design research now is done during our design, essentially. So, with the product development life cycle, design research happens during the design stage, that is the third stage. It helps to inform your designs. It helps you to get informed of your designs. Probably like you are doing something off. Of course, you won't. You might feel like, oh, you are right, unless until you start kind of conduct research with your user, right, and you start to see things differently. So design research is done during your design phase. So each time you create a new design, a new research should be done to evaluate what you've what you've designed basically, and what you need to change. So you need to put that at the back of your mind as much as you try to iterate on the designs or you create a new design based on the feedback, you still have to conduct another research. So I love to think about it like a circle. It keeps continuing. Essentially can't really pinpoint the end of a design of a cycle, right? But it's just the same way like a design cycle. As you start to create new designs, you try to make research on the design you create. So in the design research phase, your goal is to answer questions. How should we build it? You know, oh, all right. Now I need to identify there is a mistake on this slide. This is not supposed to be there. I mean, what should we build? So now, but iterating back during the foundational research, you are trying to ask yourself a question: What should we build? What are the user problem and the likes? But in your design phase, design research phase, your question is how should we build it? You know, in the foundational research, you've asked, oh, what should we build? And I say, okay, I want to build an app for people to order food in my classroom. I want to sell a chin chin, but I don't want to bring it to class. I want people to order chin chin to my app and stuff like that. Now, how do I want to build this app? How do I want to, will I go with for a website like a web app, or should I go for a mobile app or stuff like that? So, and if okay, I've decided about it. How should it look? How should I build it? Should I include my school color? Should I, all these things like that? So it happens during your design research phase. How should we build it? Let's go forward. So user research methods. Now this is where it gets somehow interesting. We've talked about I just hope you get what I'm trying to explain. That's why I'm trying to go back and try to connect to what we are talking again. User research methods. So after we've talked about the foundational research, which are categories of UX research, we've talked about primary research and secondary research, which are essentially categories of research or types of research. And under user UX research, we talk about the foundational and the design research. So now let's talk about the user research methods. So I don't know how big my screen is on for you, but this is just basically a landscape of user research method. Yeah, you can see natural use of product, decentralized, slash not choosing product at the moment. We have combinations like hybrid, and we have what have you now. Now here you can see behavioral, and I think I can see the screen. Oh, I think it's cut off. I hope you can see. So, but yeah, I suppose you have behavioral and you have attitude just below it. And these are essentially relating back to the definition of research, user research. If you can go forward very quick. So we say UX research focusing on understanding user behavior, needs, motivations through observations and feedback. Now, if you go back to our UX research method, you'll see like we are essentially trying to okay we have behavior, which is also one of the things we want to identify, and their attitude. So and yeah, these are some of the key things you might essentially have to find when you are doing your research. Overall, this is just a landscape of research method. Like we'll be talking about most of these things in details now. So we have oh my goodness, I can see this clearly. Just a moment. Okay, the page is longer than what the screen can contain. All right. So on the lower part, you have a behavioral, you have attitudinal, you have qualitative, direct, and quantitative, indirect. So you have what people do, why and how to fix. Don't worry, we'll share this slide with you. You have how many and how much. I mean, these are just a basic graph of tracking uh, the user during the research. Okay, so let's go forward to now under user research method. If you go back, you see like this is just like four cardinal points. What people do. I think it's cut off from the screen. Yeah, it's cut off from the screen. We'll share the. So sorry about that. Uh, so you see what people do, why people do, why and how to fix, how many slash how much, what people say, things like that. So going forward, we have attitudinal dimensions of of the user experience research or user research. The purpose of the attitudinal research is to understand or to measure people's stated belief, and which is why attitudinal research is heavy in marketing department. So it's essentially people's attitude towards the product you are bringing to them, towards the product you are bringing to them. And right now, this essentially doesn't have to do with the design research, but it's basically during the foundational research. So we have the behavioral. Mm, what people do. So attitude and behavior. I think there is a line between is a very very steep line between attitude and behavior. It focuses on mostly on behavior seek. This method that focuses mostly on behavior seek to understand what people do with the product or the service in questions. So it's a little bit different from attitude. So attitudinal dimensions of um is there something going on? Okay. So attitudinal dimension, why attitudinal dimension is to understand people's belief. Behavioral dimension try to understand what people do, like what's their behavior with this particular product, or what would be their product. So it's just trying to seek for more clarity, knowledge, and information of what you are bringing. Now we have the qualitative dimension. Again, if you go back to the slide that has these cardinal points, you'll be able to see how this dimension falls into place. The study that qualitative dimensions in nature generate data about behaviors and attitude based on observing them directly. So qualitative is qualitative, quantitative. So there is a contrast between qualitative and quantitative. Quantitative deals with numbers, which we are going to talk about. While qualitative deals with the quality basically. So and here we say it studies that are qualitative in nature, generate data about behavior or attitude based on observing your users directly. So qualitative methods are much better suited for answering questions about why or how to fix a problem. So now, if okay, I really wish we can see this particular cardinal point. It shows, or maybe will it be fine if I show this by going towards the original file? Anyone? Okay, this call is going to end in the next 30 minutes. That means we've spent our time. But trust me, we share the this presentation with you. So quantitative dimension now it gathers data about behavior or attitude in questions that are gathered indirectly through a measure or an instrument such as survey or an analytic tool. So, why qualitative measure quantity of the information you are trying to gather, by through observing and interacting with your user directly. Quantitative deals with, data, the amount. So it could be, oh, how many number? What's the total number of people? What's the total number of male that are in my classroom? What's the total number of females that are in my classroom? So this is quantitative. You are dealing with quantity. While qualitative is trying to interact with them, try to understand. Oh, do male like to retain their study materials? Do female love to? So just trying to get information from them. Oh, what do you do with your materials when you are done with this particular semester? Do you throw them away? Do you give it to people? And you try to classify it, and as you proceed. So now let's go to. We are still talking about user research, but now we are talking about the researches based on the the development, the product development. So product development phase, you have on my left hand you have the goals, you have the approach, and the typical method. While at the top you have strategies, execution, and access. So the first thing is like the strategy is going to be like inspire, explore, choose new directions and opportunity. Also on the approach, quantitative, you can either reach quantitative or qualitative. And also you might use feed studies, diary studies, survey, data mining or analytics. And on the executions, you can use card. All these ones are still type of user research, which we are going to talk on as class proceeds, if time is on our side. So, and yeah, the goal is to strategize, and yeah, so let's keep this. Hmm. So let's just talk about them. So let's pick it from here. Let's pick it from here. So from here, you are talking about the strategies, the executions you have to make, and assessment. So that's just basically. So your goal, the goal is to inspire, explore, choose new directions and opportunity for the product you are coming up with. Um, Also, the approach you can use for this is either through qualitative or quantitative. Typical method for for getting ideas and exploring new directions. It can either be to feed studies, diary studies, survey, data mining, and analytics. So let's try to go towards, yeah, this is what I'm looking for. So user research cheat sheet. So let's look at the user research cheat sheets and let's talk about them. So at the discovery stage of your research, linking back to um, foundational research now. So you can either do feed study, diary studies, user interview, stakeholder interview, requirements, and content guiding. So I want to ask a question, and I'll appreciate if at least a quite number of people just to know if you are following me. User interview, does it fall under quantitative or qualitative um, type of research? Yeah, exactly. It falls under qualitative. Thanks a lot. Um, so, what is fee study? So, fee study is conducted in user context and location. So, this type of study you have to, go all the way. And thank God for, thankfully, we have like a virtual world now. We are in a global village now, where you can reach people without traveling down. But in essence, it's a kind of research you conduct based on users environment, and in terms of environment it doesn't essentially have to be physical location. It could be based on their feed, it could be based on their profession, you know how we lecturers perceive my solutions, my products, how will medical students how will local practitioners, how will they, stuff like that. So, and a product is targeted to a particular users. So you might have to do fit studies by conducting research on people who user is based on that particular fit. Learn the unexpected by leaving the office and observing people in their natural environment. So if you have it, you can move out of your local area to advance to other fit. So diary study is a research method used to collect qualitative data about user behavior, activities, and experience over time. In a diary studies, data is self-reported by participants longitudinally, that is over an extended period of times that can range from a few days to a month and longer. So in essence, what diary study is trying to say is it's kind of based on particular assessments you are trying to carry on your with your users basically. So and they will be the one to give you feedback and reports to you. Okay, I tried this recipe. What do you think about it? Or try it at home and stuff like that. Just out of context, right? So just them reporting back to you. I think this section is going to end in 6 minutes. Basit, please, can you help us to create a new link so we can watch it? Please, Basit, are you there? Thank you. Thanks so much. Um, okay. Please, while this class ends, let's try to join with the other link so we can complete these sections. And in the next class, we'll start jumping into creating user persona. So, the next interview method you can adopt um, is a user interview, is which so as we can all know, maybe in a way or the other, you've probably engaged in an interview before. Um, Essentially, you just ask the questions directly from your users, and just to gather their behaviors, to know their behaviors towards something. So, stakeholders interview. This can be similar to the feed interview and the user interview. Kind of, you are still engaged with people, but feed is specifically for people in a particular feed, just to know, just to gather information, and just to fill this knowledge blank of about the product you are bringing. That's a feed. But similarly, you are still kind of interviewing them and trying to make your research. And now we are talking about stakeholders interview, which are similarly, but just think about the stakeholders being the exceptions here. Stakeholders could be people that are, it could be your investors and all like that. Requirements, constraints, gardening. Let me check the time we have left. Uh, not sure I can see the time we have left for this meeting. Okay, 24 minutes. So requirement and constraint gathering. So requirement gathering brings all involved parties together, both the product teams and the customer teams, to discuss on the project goals and details. So as you proceed in your this product design career, you'll be working um, with majorly people in the team, with diverse teams rather. You'll be working with the engineering teams, and based on the feedback we've gathered, what are the requirements we'll be needing for this product? What are the things we'll be putting into considerations? What are the constraints? What are the challenges we might be facing if we are designing this product? So it's just a in-house thing now. When you gather research now, oh, let's come to the drawing board. What are the things we need for this and the products? Now let me talk about product managers. They will also be involved, and you work with each person, your teams. So that was basically, uh, requirement and constraint gathering. So for your explorative stage, probably now I can imagine you might feel, oh, this is getting overwhelming. I'm tired. I'm tired, but it's not something you do once, right? It's a continuous process. It's a continuous thing you do in your products. Even you, as times goes on, you find yourself doing these things and you don't even, oh, you are intentional about it, of course, but it becomes something you do normal. Now, that we've talked about the discovery stage. This discovery stage, they are basically, the field studies, interview study, and what have you, all the type of research method we've listed earlier on. Now we are in the explore stage. This explore stage can be tailored towards your design, um, towards the design research. We have foundational research and design research. Now, so this explore stage can be tailored towards design stage. Now we have competitive analysis, we have design review, expert review, we have personal building, which we'll be talking on in the next class. We have tax analysis, we have journey mapping. We'll talk about that in the next class. We have, I don't know why, but I'm kind of excited about this particular stage. I think it's more like it brings out your creative juice, right? So we have our right user stories, you have cat sortings, and these are for the explorative stage. I hope this is not becoming really information overload. Please, if you don't understand anything, please and please and please call my attention. So competitive analysis is a strategy that involves, researching major competitors to gain insight into their product, sales, and marketing statistics. So now this is not like you are trying to fight with your competitors or you are trying to copy what they are doing. It's just like a research. Just like I said when I started class, research is not like something that is abstraction, right? It's out of curiosity, you know, out of curiosity, right? So you'd be like, oh, what are these guys doing? What are they doing? What can we improve on? And just like when I was doing my research project, and we are all tasked with coming up with research topic. And I think this section has ended. So we'll be joining the next class very soon. Very soon. All right. Thank you for joining. So let's get it going. We're almost done for today's class, and thank you for thank you for staying tuned. Still, okay, cool. So I hope everyone can hear me now. Please, just to be sure we're all following. Where did I stop? Please. Hello, hello. Can someone remind me where I stopped? Yeah, thanks a lot. So essentially, it's just trying to figure out what they are doing and what you can do differently. It's not like we're trying to. I mean, think of fintech. Every fintech is trying to solve financial banking problems, but the way they approach it is essentially different. So you can actually just figure out different fintech you can think of and see how they are doing it. Of course, they are all doing the same thing, the same problems. They are solving the same problems for different solutions in diverse ways, different creative ways. So I mean, these are also stages and research that goes on with them, expert review. So now I like to think about it this way. Explorate foundational research is more key into the user research, while the design research is more key into the research into the design you are creating to suit your user. I don't even making sense. The foundational research is key into the users, of course, into their users' point of view, essentially. While the design and design research stage is key to the design, the product you are creating yourself, and with empathy for the users. So, based on the information you gather during the foundational research stage, you are applying those outputs to your those results to your design research phase. Okay, so we're almost done. Um, Going forward, we have personal building. So, so personals are meant to be rich representations of users and go on further than demographic or personal details. Most well-crafted personals includes a multitude of information such as demographic details, personal details, attitudinal slash quantitative details. We have the goals, motivations, behavioral details. So based on the interactions you've had with people, so these are some of the things that actually reflect on your designs. Trust me, because you can see how these things are connecting. Previously, we talked about the foundational research phase, which involves survey. It involves interview, design interview, stakeholder interview. But now it involves feed interview. It involves if my memory serves me right, it involves diary interview or diary research. So now coming back to the design stage, see how we are applying those research we've carried out during the foundational slash discovery stage. So now we are talking about personal building, which will be talked on in details in the next class. So personal are meant to be rich representations of your users. Again, if you have a rich representation of your users, you must have done a good research in your discovery stage, right? So it go beyond just they are male, females. You have a very good, representations of your audience, of your users. You have their demographic details, their personal details, their attitude slash cognitive details. As much as you can go deeper with your research, their goals, motivations, their behaviors and attitude, and the behavioral details and the likes. So, tax analysis, these are the systematic studies of how your users complete tasks to achieve their goals. So now this will take us back to the context I'm starting with, which is like your course materials. So okay, so what are the process they do? What process do they go to? Like after this section, do they back it up on Google Drive? What are the tax analysis? What are the tax they do? Okay, so this particular research method will ensure like the product